citizens of Lexington, citizens of New England, and we call upon you to make your feelings known. Let King George himself and his ministers in Parliament hear our voices today. It is December of 1773, and trouble is brewing in a teacup. Parliament has passed a law making it easy for the East India Company to sell tea in America at bargain prices, but also demanding that a tax be paid on the tea before it can be landed.
No!
No! That should make you angry. Many colonists are angry not only about the tax, but also about the monopoly Parliament has granted to the East India Company. That company and their agents, Tories every one, are now the only people who can legally import tea into America. If Parliament can hand out monopolies like that, it could cripple trade here in the colonies. What gives them the right? Now is the hour of crisis. Have you heard the news?
What news?
3 ships loaded with tea have landed in Boston, where patriots refuse to let them unload. Huzzah! Will Lexington stand silent while the people of Boston stand fast in resistance to tyranny?
No! No! No!
And so it is that on December 13th, 1773, we citizens of Lexington are gathered in town and a town meeting to consider Lexington's response to the tea crisis in Boston. A committee has prepared a resolution drafted by Reverend Jonas Clark. Shall we hear from Reverend Clark the contents of this resolution?
Yes!
Yes. Reverend Clark, the floor is yours.
From the intelligence transmitted by the Committee of Correspondence in Boston, it appears that the enemies of the rights and liberties of Americans, greatly disappointed in the success of the Revenue Act, are seeking to avail themselves of new and, if possible, yet more detestable measures to distress, enslave, and destroy us. Not enough that a tax was laid upon tea imported by us for the sole purpose of raising a revenue to support taskmasters, pensioners, etc., in idleness and luxury, but by a late act of Parliament to appease the wrath of the East India Company, provision is made for said company to export their teas to America free and discharged from the payment of all duties in England, but liable to all the same in America. We are alarmed at this masterly effort of iniquitous policy, as it has the most gloomy aspect on the trade of these colonies, and gives an opening to the East India Company to monopolize one branch after another, until in process of time they will be the sole merchants in America. Once admit this subtle, wicked, ministerial plan to take place. Once permit this tea thus imposed upon us by the East India Company to be landed, received, and vended. The badge of our slavery is fixed. The foundation of ruin is surely laid, and we shall soon be obliged to bid farewell to the once flourishing trade of America, and an everlasting adieu to those glorious rights and liberties for which our worthy ancestors prayed, so bravely fought, so freely bled. This being the light in which we view these measures, we cannot but be alarmed, especially when we see our danger so great, our ruin so nearly effected. The ship with the detested tribute tea in the harbor. Therefore, we do, with the greatest seriousness and sincerity, come into the following resolves. That, as the Revenue Act appears to us to be a direct violation of our charter, rights, and liberties, we are determined to the utmost of our power to oppose them. That we will not be concerned in landing, receiving, buying, or selling any of the teas sent out by the East India Company for the purpose of raising a revenue in America. That if any head of a family in this town or any person shall purchase or consume any tea, such person shall be looked upon as an enemy to this town and to this country, and shall by this town be treated with neglect and contempt. That with gratitude to our brethren in Boston, we are ready and resolved to concur with them in every rational measure that may be necessary for the preservation or recovery of our rights and liberties as Englishmen and Christians. And we trust in God that should the state of our affairs require it, we shall be ready to sacrifice our estates and everything dear in life, yea, and life itself, in support of the common cause.
You have heard the resolution. What say you? All in favor of passing, say aye.
Aye!
Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
The measure passes. Let's hear 3 cheers.
Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah!
And to show our hearts are truly behind us, let us gather up all the tea in town and consign it to the flames. Let us bring forth the tea from every cupboard and cozy.